Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're so glad to welcome you as part of our community tonight. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and distributed live stream. By entering this virtual meeting room, you give your consent to be recorded and distributed by Simeon Morrow Public Speaking and Presentations and other third parties. If you prefer to not be recorded, please turn off your camera and microphone and or go to the Facebook Live video feed, the link to which I'll now place in the chat room. For a better experience, please turn off your microphone and set your video to gallery view. Tonight, our featured guest is Natalia Villanueva García, a counseling psychologist in training and founding and managing director of the Max Steiner Orchestra. We have the pleasure of being joined by several of Natalia's colleagues and associates: Denise Mata, director of the Studentinnenheim and Kulturzentrum Währing; Johanna Tovar, an intercultural communications trainer; Danielle Arias, a violinist and head of talent and innovation at the Max Steiner Orchestra; Hélène Sadri, head doctor at the Neurourology Department of the Balgris University Hospital, Switzerland; Monica Sorondo Ciernia, a composer and saxophonist; Yun Chung Huang, a composer; Sebastian Salazar Bogoya, a composer and assistant to the managing director of the Max Steiner Orchestra. We are also pleased to be joined by Professor Lino Rivera of St. Mary's College of California. Natalia, welcome.
Hello, Simon. Thank you for the invitation, and thanks to all my guests to accompany me.
So, Natalia, can you tell us a little bit about yourself in a few words?
Yes, it's a little bit complex to explain. I have three main interests: music, business administration, and psychology. So I first studied music composition at the Music University, where I met Yu Chun and Monica, and later Sebastian and Daniel. And I also then I studied a Master of Business Administration at the University for Economy in Vienna. And now I am training consulting psychology, but this has been my interest all my life. The order is not the priorities. So it's just how it came about. Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your work as a business consultant. So you started as a musician, and I believe that you were very passionate about film music, and then you decided to found your own orchestra in order to record film music?
No, it was an accident. I never had the purpose of founding an orchestra. I was working as music supervisor, and after some rehearsals, we went to have dinner with several composers and orchestrators and some directors too from Hollywood that came for the festival that we have here in Vienna every year, named Hollywood in Vienna. And they asked me very openly, they would like to record in Vienna the next soundtrack if I know some orchestra. And I said, yeah, of course, the Radio Symphony Orchestra, there's a lot of amazing orchestras here in Vienna. So I told them, yeah, just give me a couple of weeks, I will organize an orchestra for your recording. And then I called them, but they were booked 2 years in advance. And then I remember at composition class at the Music University, we had a guest from Germany that he recorded with an orchestra in Germany. So I called him and I said, well, I don't find an orchestra in Vienna, maybe in Germany, do you know any? Yes, we have one here, but in Austria, there is no. I was like, really nothing that similar to Germany? He said no. And then he made a joke. But maybe you could do one. And I was like, right. Like I could do an orchestra. And then that thought stayed in my head, and I was like, okay, let's see if the musicians are interested. I don't know, no players, no orchestra. So I wrote an email to everybody, and all the platforms where students from the university and from the conservatorium were able to see this advertisement or this request. And I had 500 emails in 1 week. And I remember telling all my friends, oh my God, can you help me answering emails and doing auditions? And so that's how the Max Steiner Orchestra was born, by accident.
Fantastic.
Yes,
And
yeah.
Tell us maybe a little bit about then how you got into counseling psychology. Was it purely by trying to understand these musicians who you were working with?
No, that has been my interest all my life. Since I was a little girl, I have been very, very thrilled by how emotions work, why they influence our behavior, why we do things we do, why we can't stop doing things we would like to stop doing, why we don't do things that we would like to do. I was always very curious, and that was my hobby mostly. I had a lot of books about it, and I read and read. That was like the way of relaxing, was reading books about psychology. And now I decided, okay, I cannot turn 40 and not have a psychology something. Yes.
Wow.
So I have still 3 years for the people who are interested in how old I am.
So Natalia,
Yes.
so what does it mean if you're a counseling psychologist? What do you do exactly?
Well, what I love the most is see how each person like flourish what they are really. So I see myself more like watching the movie they perform to me, rather than me giving them the wisdom. I think the wisdom is in each of them or of us. And it's similar to composition, because also when you compose something, you show a little piece of yourself. And it's similar. So I like to watch and witness that process. That thrills me. So that is why I want to do it.
And maybe can you tell us a little bit, then going back to your business career, you're also a business consultant. How does that fit in with your orchestra managing and your counseling psychologist work?
Well, that was also an accident, how I became to coach some entrepreneurs or give talks at the University of Economics in Vienna. It was more of my experience. I used to complain a lot about my experience in the music industry, as many of you know. So I was called to my professor at the business university and economics here in Vienna. They were very curious how that works, how the industry works, and how can you solve. So it most was my experience with the curiosity, and then they invited me to talk about my experience. So it's not a consulting or coaching, like I have these tools and this is how it should be. It's more like talk about the real life. How is it when you have this problem, when you have this crisis, when you're out of ideas, when the whole production crashed, what did you do? It's also interpersonal relations, when this person doesn't want to speak with the other one. It was more like a genuine and authentic, what do you do in these situations? So I never said I'm a business consultant, let's tell people how business are done. The other way around. From all the frustration I could experience, I just share how I dealt with it. And so people seem to like to like how I resolved that, how I overcame those things. So it's more like mentor, like in the same level talking
Okay.
to other business owners, yes, or
So-
other people, also a project. It doesn't have to be a business. I have a friend who has a project and asked me, how can I develop? How did you do? What did you make first? What are the rules in Austria? Do I need a lawyer? And more like that. Yes.
Understood. So, Natalia, it seems like all of your work seems to go together. There's a lot of different things that are helping each other, working together symbiotically. So, I'd like to tell the participants that it was fascinating when I invited you on. You said, well, yes, in order to get to know me, really, you have to meet my friends. And so for that reason, you asked to have these 8 other professionals come on and talk in order so that we get to know you. So I'd like to begin, please, with Denise Mata, who will be speaking in German. So as best to express herself, I will translate simultaneously. Denise, welcome.
Thank you, Simeon. Gut, ich bin sehr froh, heute Abend mit Natalia hier zu sein und bei deiner Live-Show. Wir haben viel gemeinsam, Natalia und ich glaube, durch meine Tätigkeit bin ich hier näher gekommen und sie hat mich auch inspiriert, in einer gewissen Weise auch das zu tun, was ich jetzt konkret weiter tue.
So, Simeon, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm so glad to be Natalia's guest. So can you tell us, Denise, a little bit about your work with the Studentenwohnheim? What is it exactly? How did you get there? And why did you go there? And what do you do now?
Yes, sehr gerne. Ich bin hier zuerst als Studentin eingezogen und da habe ich mein Studium in Wien im Ferien verbracht. Und nach einer Pause, wo ich andere Berufserfahrungen gesammelt habe, bin ich hierher zurückgekommen aus der Überzeugung, man kann sehr viel aus den jungen Leuten zu machen.
Yes, so I came here as a young student actually to live at the Studentenwohnheim, and then I began working here. Denise, could you tell us what makes the Studentenwohnheim special exactly? Yeah. I'll show the website.
Yes. Gut, wir sind nicht nur ein Studentinnenheim im eigentlichen Sinn, weil wir nicht nur Zimmer vermieten. Also unser Haus bietet eine Vielfalt an Angebote, angefangen gut bei den materiellen Angeboten. Also die Studentinnen, die hier wohnen, können im Haus zum Teil essen, haben eine Halbpension. Aber noch besonderer würde ich sagen, wir haben sehr viele Veranstaltungen im Haus. Wir sind auch ein Kulturzentrum und die Studentinnen, die hier wohnen, können an die Konzerte, an die Vorträge, an die verschiedenen Veranstaltungen vom Kulturzentrum teilnehmen.
Yes, so we are a very diverse student dormitory. We live together and we eat together. And at the same time, we have a culture centrum. So we do many different cultural activities. And could you tell us, Denise, what is, for instance, your one of your favorite activities? I see here you have an international dinner, ironing made easy. Is ironing made easy one of your favorites?
Ich muss sagen, dass das Programm steht aus den Vorschlägen und aus Initiative der Studentinnen selber. Und zum Beispiel konkret diesen Workshop hat eine Studentin vorgeschlagen, weil wir ein Team im Haus haben, die natürlich diese ganzen Services anbietet. Und sie hat gemeint, sie können das super machen, also wir können davon profitieren. Und ich glaube, das ist auch besonders, dass wir nicht nur Anbieter sind von Tätigkeiten, sondern das Haus lebt von den Leuten, die hier wohnen und von ihren Ideen, von ihren Anregungen für das Programm.
Yes, so actually it happens to do with all of the students who live here, their individual talents. We had a girl who said, well, I can do that really well. I'm great at ironing. Well, let me show you how. And so it really comes from the people who live here together. So thank you very much, Denise. I would like now to introduce, please, we're going to go to Monica Sorondo Ciernia, and to do that, we are going to watch a video of her music. Wow. Monica, so tell us a little bit about your work. Tell us about your work as a saxophonist and composer. Is that right?
Yes, Simon, hope you can hear me fine. Right, so I'm a saxophone player, flutist also, mainly jazz music, pop music, and electronic music. And as a composer, I write film music, music for, theater, applied music, as we say, lots of orchestral stuff and, commercials, things like this.
Wow. And so how did you meet Natalia?
We met at the university in Vienna, the MDW, so University for Music and Performing Arts, as the nice name says. And we met in my first year of composing studies, I think, which was Natalia's last year, actually, which is funny, although we're almost precisely the same age, I believe. But yeah, I started composing later. Natalia was just finishing up. And I remember just a little personal note on that. I remember first time I met her, I thought just a young girl like me. I was 20, whatever, I don't know, 24 something. And then she said, yeah, I gotta go. I have to pick up my son in kindergarten. I was like, whoa, that woman is just, finishing her studies and she has a son in kindergarten. I was so impressed. I just remember that. That was super impressive. So, and yeah, I find it great that she has been able to pursue her career as musician, composer, now psychologist, and at the same time be a mom, which is incredibly hard. And to do these two things at the same time. And yeah, now then she did this amazing project with the orchestra. I find it brilliant. It's wonderful that Vienna has this institution now, not just Vienna, it's for the whole world, obviously. And yeah, it seems like she's a great musician, amazing composer, and yet she decided that's not the end of my life. I want to do something new. So I find it amazing that she keeps adding these new ideas to her life, and she does what she wants, and that's wonderful. That's how I met Natalia.
And Monica, can you tell us a little bit about your website? We have here monicamusic.squarespace.com. So tell us a little bit more about your work and how it relates to Natalia's work.
So that work on the website, I just want to add one little thing. The composing part on the website is unfortunately right now under construction. I didn't know that we would look at this, otherwise I would have worked on that on a night shift, but whatever, everything else is on the website. The website has an overview of all my activities, which is kind of hard to do because I'm playing as a saxophonist, I'm writing music, I'm also DJing, I'm producing music, so I do all these things. Oh yeah, and also I'm teaching at a university. I'm also doing the Office of the Dean of Studies. So there's a lot of music and art related things that are connected just through being art, but at the same time, they're very, very different. And yeah, it can be a little confusing to some people because one person doing classical music and then playing as a DJ like house music at the same time, that is something that is a little hard for them to understand.
So what you admire most about Natalia is probably what she admires most about you, that you're always doing something new.
Oh, that's sweet. I guess that's why we're also friends, not just colleagues.
Wonderful. So I'd like to bring in Professor Lino Rivera of St. Mary's College of California. Lino?
Yes, good evening to everybody, and it's very fascinating for me. I have a question for Natalia regarding the business side of it, because as one of my professors in graduate school said, we teach our students how to do music and to perform and to compose, but we never teach them how to manage life in terms of finances. And so we produce graduates going out there in the real world after finishing their degrees, not knowing how to manage finances, how to manage the performances and the engagements, and how to. So, can you tell us how you go about this? What do you teach? What do you impart to the students in order for them to live a life that is financially viable?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. That is exactly, I have talked about this with you, Chun and Monica, probably 5 million times. How we graduate knowing amazing music, like really, it's amazing that part, but we also live in a world and music business. We know about music, but we don't know about business. And the business part actually clarifies a lot of the things we think it's our fault. Sometimes we blame ourselves because we did it wrong, but actually we don't understand the system we are in. So I think that will be understanding the rules of the game will be a lot easier for any musician. Yes. And actually, I wrote my master thesis at the Master of Music Administration about how to create a program, not only for musicians, but for creatives, probably in the last semester or maybe in the first semester or whenever, or a selective, just to know where you are playing the game, your surroundings. So that's a very, very important topic.
So, Natalia, do you teach a course? Do you have a workshop for musicians, for students, in order for them to learn all of these fine details of how to survive in the real world?
Not yet. Till now, I have been invited to. Like, could you share how you did it, what you would recommend, or my findings from my master thesis? Or they also recorded videos from me on YouTube to show to the students whenever they want for online classes. So I have been now only a guest, but of course it would be amazing. The more musicians I can help, the better, building not only a career, but building projects, because there's amazing ideas. And that is what I want to develop with Daniel as head of talent and innovation. The ideas are amazing, but with how to implement it, how to finance, how to make a business case, how to make a business plan, that is also as important as having the idea. So that would be amazing, yes.
Just to follow up, because I'm very, very interested with this. I'm teaching students, and I teach the music, but I could not teach the business. Can you give us one small example of what you do regarding how to teach them how to live life financially after school?
Well, the main thing to solve a problem is knowing what the problem really is, because so many times we are trying to solve the problem and actually that's not the real problem. So finding what is actually the problem, it's already a huge part of the solution. So probably reflect what is what you really want beneath. Because I want to record a song. Okay, very easy. Everybody wants that. But what is actually beneath that? More like a strategy or vision or purpose. Because if I do a project just because everybody's recording a song, or what is my purpose? What do I want to tell the world? Who am I? What is my position? What is my identity in my society? And then it begins to be fun. Just not only recording a song because everybody's recording a song, or doing an album because everybody's recording an album. putting meaning into it, that's already an engine of fire that will develop the project. And then a couple of tools, project management tools, that just everybody can do that.
Okay, now, can I have one more question? Do you find it different in Europe? I'm living here in the United States. Do you find that the market and the financial landscape is different, and how people should deal with these situations in Europe as opposed to the United States, or are they the same?
No, they're definitely different. In Vienna, well, I cannot speak for whole Europe, only for Vienna and Austria. There's a lot of state support. And we as internationals, we are used to a lot of the private sector. But if you're a musician born in Austria, in the Austrian culture, you have a lot of support, or your mindset is, okay, the government will support me with grants, and if I get a grant, then I can do the composition. In USA or Latin America, it's more like the swimming alone in the ocean and private sector. And this gives us more a little bit of fire. So I will say USA, Latin America is more fighter. Vienna is more, okay, somebody will take care of me. Let's see how I can win the grant. So that's how I see the differences, yes.
So now I'd like it to bring into Helen Sadri. Helen, can you tell us a little bit about your work in neurourology?
Yes, hello. Nice that I can be here. Thank you, Natalia. Yeah, I'm actually attending in urology, and I'm just now doing my specialization in neurourology. That is basically how the bladder is really functioning, like from the brain over the spinal cord, which gives the information to the bladder. And so this is my specialty, which I'm working on since now nearly 2 years. And yeah, it's a quite very interesting topic. It's not like the common part. Everybody thinks, oh, urology is just men and that's it. No, also women are very involved in all the bladder things, and we work a lot with spinal cord injury patients in our clinic, and but also with patients which have just normal back pain or any other neurological disorders which also can cause bladder symptoms. And that's basically I'm working on with, yes.
And tell us what, so if you pick up the phone and call Natalia, what is it exactly that aligns the two of you in your conversations? What is it that you talk about?
Oh, I think when we manage to talk lately, because we're all so busy in our own lives, but actually when we manage to talk, it's like, I don't know, 20 years ago, like we never ended our conversation. So we just can go back in, and it's more like if someone needs anything, an advice, which is like more than just the basic stuff, like real life advice. Now I have now 2 children, so I'm quite often asking her for advice, how I could manage things, if she has any ideas what I can do. And I'm always having an open, warm-hearted person who gives you, it's not that she like gives you advice, like saying, this, I would do this and this. She more like gives you the right thoughts to have, that you manage to have the solution for your problem or whatever it is at the end. Yeah, that's fine.
And if there's something you think that Natalia, does she ask you questions about your work? Do you ever talk to her about work? It sounds like that, no, you never talk about work.
Not much about work, to be honest. No, a little, but I think it's more really the relationship with each other. Like than our work. I mean, we always know what the other person is doing. I mean, from my part, it's easier. Hers is always changing. But I mean, we know what we're doing, the other person, but it's not, no, we don't really talk a lot about work. No, not a lot about work. But also it depends on, I think there were like times when Natalia really founded the Max Steiner Orchestra, then you had like more interaction and maybe sometimes giving advices. Like, I don't know, I can remember that I always thought like, oh, she's working so hard and just working. But actually never something came in like to live for. And that sometimes really made me a little bit upset. And that was basically when I said, okay, but you have to get something for it. You can't just work for, and then at the end you get
earning
nothing.
Money.
Yeah, and like, how is your business working? Because my business is working totally different. So I could not understand this. And I could just see how much she was like giving in and like working day and night. And then at the end, nothing really was there, where I was like, oh, what is that for a business? And so I'm always happy when I hear about her improvements, and so that is going on. So I'm, yeah.
Fantastic. And Helen, could you tell us now, I'll show your website, and can you tell us a little bit about what motivated you to go into this neurourology and what you would like kind of any of us to know that you find exciting about it, your newest discoveries?
So the newest discoveries, I am very honest. As I finished my residency in urology, I already had one kid, my son, and I finished my residency in working part-time. So yeah, you work 50 hours here in Switzerland. I'm living in Switzerland, and I worked part-time. And I realized that if I want to really do something where I'm, at the end of the day, I'm satisfied with, I really have to be more specialized in something, because like being a normal urologist, where you operate, you have to be there like more, in my opinion, you have to be there like 100%. Or even 120%, and doing regular your surgeries and everything. So if you just work part-time, you have to see what can I do, like more specialized. And I was lucky that I could spend some time in the department where I am now, and the neurourology department, that I could spend half a year in my residency. So I knew what was going on there and how it worked. During the residency time, I was actually not so impressed or not so keen on being a neurourologist, because the patients are really, really complex. It's not just like, oh, someone comes and he has like a little bit sensation in burning when he pees or so. It's more like really complex, like very sick patients or very chronic, painful patients, which you have really stay with and get them somehow. And yeah, they need a little bit more time. And so I realized then afterwards, when I finished, that this would be the thing which I am interested in, is, and doing something more specialized where I can also do a good job, but in not being there 100%.
Understood. Okay, thank you very much, Helen. I'd like to speak with Danielle Arias now, please. Hi, Danielle.
Hello, hello.
So can you tell us, Danielle, tell us a little bit about your work?
My work, like in my life, like in the orchestra with Natalia?
All of the above.
Okay, so I'm a violin player. I study in the University of Music in Vienna. I'm playing here a lot of chamber music, but more like in the Latin American, how can I say, like Schwerpunkt. So I'm playing, like, for example, what we are watching now, no, like tango music, and I'm playing also like music with some people who plays this kind of pan flute from the Anden. I'm playing with some Mexican groups, and I'm trying to put the rest of me in these kind of projects. But I'm also playing, of course, like every musician in Vienna, in some orchestras and some projects who are all the time boring, all the time taking place here in the city, like Max Steiner Orchestra. So what's one of the things I'm making here now? I'm working with Natalia, not just like as a musician in the orchestra, but also like someone who is putting together all the musicians, who is looking for new musicians who can fit the necessities of the different projects we are taking with the orchestra, but also trying to put some ideas together. How can we make the life of the musicians when they are playing a project with us easier or better? So that's kind of the work I'm doing now.
And Daniel, can you tell us what you're head of talent and innovation at the Max Steiner Orchestra? What does innovation mean to you?
Innovation is in the Max Steiner Orchestra is trying to make everything work for everyone. In this case, for Natalia, for example, which kind of music does she need or want, or what kind of music does a project need? And with the musicians, what for example, is really the needs of the different musicians in the orchestra, and what could work in favor of the musicians when they are playing the different projects. So that's kind of the innovation I'm trying to put in, not just like this kind of you go, you play a project and that's it, you get your money, but also how can we do that much better for the musicians?
What do you respond to people who tell you that a symphony orchestra cannot innovate?
Well, I think they're wrong, and I think the world is now trying to show us classical music, because we are also the most of the people who is playing the project are classical music musicians, and I think the world is just showing us that we have to change the point of view of how we make music and how we relate, not just between us, but between the public also, and between the things we are playing, and how should we manage to play new things and innovate like in different things, not just like also what you are showing, what you are trying to share as a visual thing, and I think this kind of things are changing really fast now and taking place.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Daniel. I'd like to talk with Johanna Tovar, please. Can we welcome Johanna?
Yes, Giovanna. So I am an intercultural communication trainer. I know Natalia since almost actually she arrived to Vienna, and we have been friends since then. And yeah, and I have been living in different countries, and that's why it's my passion to explain and to show and other people other cultures, and help them to understand each other, so that there is some diversity and unity in diversity.
So tell us, Johanna, so what does intercultural mean exactly? What is intercultural communication?
So intercultural communication, a trainer helps others to understand the cultural values, cultural traits of other culture. So the other person or the person who is visiting a new culture is able to adjust well to it, but it's not also going to a new culture. It could be that there is nowadays multicultural teams that need to adapt to a certain communication style from different cultures. Let's say I was living in Taiwan, the communication is more indirect, and now being in the US, the communication is more indirect. So imagine if someone new from Taiwan is coming to here and trying to communicate, and I will help that person to to guide him through the communication styles and the way how people live here or manage or present, create trust. So it has different, let's say, traits or patterns or cultural dimensions, how we call it.
And so what's the difference between international communication and intercultural communication?
It is intercultural communication, actually, yeah.
So international is just an old way of saying intercultural.
I think international is just a standard, but intercultural communication is more cross-cultural communication. So communication between different cultural backgrounds.
And can, for instance, within one place, say New York City, where you are, is there intercultural communication going on there, even between people who hold an American passport?
Yes, it's actually a melting pot, and it is like being, I think you are in the US, but New York is special. So because you have people from every corner of the world here, and you have a lot of multinational companies here. So it is incredible. It's like I go out and I breathe internationality here.
And Johanna, tell us what is one of your favorite success stories that you've had with clients?
Well, when they are able to feel that they can adapt to the culture, or when they feel this being light where they are, and saying, okay, I can make it through here. I can make it through this change.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Now I'd like us to take a look at a video of the music of Yu Chung Huang. Wow. So Yu Chung, welcome.
Hello, thank you, Simeon, and thank you, Natalia, for having me here.
Tell us a little bit about this this music you wrote. So you're a composer, and you wrote for a disc jockey?
Well, I'm a composer. I write for actually, we studied together, Natalia and Monica and me. So actually we had the same major, applied music, media music. So I'm doing quite a lot of different stuff for jazz, theater, film, and I also write for concert music. And this one we just saw, it was my first experience with Max Steiner Orchestra with the DJ, a wonderful, amazing DJ. And it was for me an amazing experience. I get the chance to experience different stuff and drum and bass and, really cool stuff.
Wow. So, and tell us a little bit about how you met Natalia. Tell us about that studying together. Were you both always interested in the same kind of music, or did you have different tastes?
I think we were maybe something that we like might quite be similar, but we were quite differently also what we write. And when I was in the university, she was, I think, 1 year ahead, I think. And she was already very inspiring because she was so good in the university. She was good at everything she did. And as Monica said, I can't believe that she has a baby at home at the time, because I would not manage, having a baby. Now I have a baby myself. I know how difficult that is. She was just really good, and she's so open-minded. And she's also a very, very nice colleague. And whenever I have questions, if I ask her, she will tell me a lot. And so actually starting with her was very inspiring.
Wow. And so tell us a little bit about your next projects. Are you planning to make another composition for the Max Steiner Orchestra? What is your what are your next performances going to be like?
Well, I would love to, but I think that now we don't have a next plan for Max Steiner. But my next project will be a Christmas concert in actually, if everything is fine in Vienna here, then it will be on at the 18th of December with Radio Symphony Orchestra. And yes, I reorchestrated a bit the opening medley for the Christmas concert.
Fantastic, wonderful. And are people able to go on the Radio Symphony Orchestra website to hear this, or?
I think it will be on TV. It will be streaming on TV, I guess. Wonderful. And I hope, of course, that live concert will be held as well.
Okay, fantastic. Welcome, Sebastian Salazar Begoya.
Hello, Jimmy. Good night.
So, good Sebastian, evening. Tell us a little bit about your work and what you do as Natalia's, I believe, as her assistant. Is it? You work at the Max Steiner Orchestra?
Yeah. Well, that is actually that's like a new stage of my teamwork with her. Till recently, I was the head of music preparation of the orchestra, and I was basically handling the music scores and the parts for all the musicians in the rehearsals and in the recordings. And well, I was very closely working with her and seeing all of the stuff that she was going through. And recently, she offered me this other position, and well, I thought it was a great opportunity, and I took it. And well, it's just like a development process right now. Like we're gonna be seeing how the projects are gonna be like coming, and what is gonna be the immediate needs, and what I'm gonna have to do for her. It's just like there's a lot of stuff to be done and a lot of stuff to be learned as well.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about your work as a composer.
Well, I am currently studying. I'm gonna finish my degree in classical composition in January, and well, so far it's been mostly academical. Like I've just had my music performed in the university. I had one opportunity to have one piece performed in Japan in the music festival for students' music festival in Kyoto in 2018. But besides that, I'm now studying what Natalia and Yu Chung and Monica studied, media composition in the same university, and it's just like the beginning of a new process. I'm taking a little bit slower than Natalia. She does things way too fast. I'm trying to keep up with the rhythm. So yeah, that what you're showing right there has some of my compositions. The ones that are performed live are we call it Klassenabend. Is like a concert from played by students in the university, and some stuff that I produced myself there. Now, like more into the direction of media, music, and film scoring.
And have you composed already for the Max Steiner Orchestra?
No, I haven't. I'm looking forward for the chance to do that. Yeah.
And following up on what Daniel said about innovation, is that one of your, do you have specific things you'd like to accomplish with the orchestra under Natalia's direction? The
thing with Max Steiner Orchestra is that it brings the the innovation opportunities to you. Like, I didn't see myself working in this kind of in this line of work. Like, I always thought about like writing music, but I've learned a lot about project management and organization and structuring different tasks by working with Natalia, and I find it fascinating how the whole thing works in the orchestra. So what she does is extremely innovative. I've also seen how other ensembles and orchestras work, and I think like the focus on the human part of it and the caring of caring so much about how the people do and what they need. I think that's like following up on what Daniel said is the most important thing. Like
Fantastic.
Happy musicians play awesome music, I guess.
Fantastic. Natalia, so tell us, what are your thoughts after hearing your closest associates, colleagues, friends talk? What do you think about after all of these years knowing them and, like you said, getting to know you through them?
Yes, well, first, thank you for being here and taking the time and sharing your thoughts with us. And it's really, each of you are a very, very important part of my life. When I needed the most, each of you were there. Where I didn't know what to do anymore, each of you were there, and your words have really made me what I am now. I am really a combination of you all. I know some of you don't know each other. It seems like a weird combination, but it's exactly who I am. This combination is like the puzzle of all this. Yes, it made me who I am. So I cannot, when I think about my career, I need to think about all the people involved in each stage. Like Helen was the first person I told I was pregnant when I was 19. She was shocked. Giovanna was the second person. Denise was the first person I ever saw in Austria. She welcomed me in the residency and has been there for me ever since. Monica and Yushun had to hear all my complaints about the industry over and over and over and over again. And doesn't matter how much I complain, they're still listening to my complaints. And also friendship is very important. Sebastian and Daniel, as they already said, it's a new phase of my life where I involve more people in the orchestra, helping me, because I believe the more input I have from others, the richer it gets. It's really magical. So when I allow myself to be surprised by others' ideas instead of pushing mine, it becomes so colorful. And I loved a lot what Daniel said about innovation. That is exactly what I am aiming, innovating from within, because everybody thinks about innovation as something awesome outside, but not so many orchestral things. Okay, how can we innovate within the life of musician? How to improve lives of musicians within an orchestra? Like he said, it's not only I come, they get me paid and I go. You also need to have a purpose. You also need to feel happy when you do it. So I really loved how he really got what I want, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. And Sebastian has become a very important figure in my career and also in my personal life. He has worked with me for many days, several hours of desperation, of screaming and not knowing what to do. And look, Sebastian, I don't have time. Can you take this call? I cannot think anymore. I don't have energy anymore. So we So that's, it's more than just doing something, it's a whole dimension. Yes, I think, I don't know if someone wants to share something.
Tell us what, you met all of these fine colleagues and associates and friends some years ago. Has the world changed around you, like you said, or is it you and your associates who are changing the world, like you said, innovation from outside or from the inside?
No, I think we each created the reality we wanted for us. And that's what we all have in common.
And how is it that, how is that going to continue in the future? So you're, in other words, saying that each of you are real natural leaders, really leading the way for others, saying, you know, no, it can be this way. I understand that it's, people don't see it right now, but I believe that it can be different. It can be like this. How do you see that in the future?
Well, I think it's a very natural process. This had happened naturally. There was no plan or purpose behind, never. And I don't think for the future there should be a precise goal or something. This has developed very naturally, and I think that will be the natural course too. And that's the exciting thing, that we don't know what will be, but I know, knowing the essence of everybody here, that it will be very meaningful for everybody.
And how do you see the future? Would you like to involve them in more of your projects with the Max Steiner Orchestra or the counseling psychology, or would you like them to meet each other, or what do you hope for in the future?
Well, I hope, the first thing I hope is that the lockdown is off so I can make a welcome party for Sebastian and Daniel. The second thing I hope is that the Max Steiner Orchestra can perform again a piece of for Monica and Yuchu, and for the first time from Sebastian and many other times. I also wish that Helen and Joanna can come one day and see live the Max Steiner Orchestra. Yes. And Denise, I think you still haven't witnessed the Max Steiner Orchestra live yet. Yeah. And Daniel, I really hope he has a lot of fun doing what he does with me. Because I know from Sebastian he does, but from Daniel,
Yes,
we still need to start that adventure. Yeah,
Okay.
so just have fun. I really look forward to having fun with all of you, whatever we do. With Denise, we also have in common the coaching and the human development project. She is also planning, and she is doing, but growing in that. So I also hope to have fun in that topic with her. And yes, enjoy life. I think that's why we're all here.
Wonderful. And the last question then for tonight: what do you wish to each one of these fine friends of yours?
For their own life? Well, Denise, your new project will flourish about the coaching. Whoa, Helen, I wish I had more information to have a wish. Yes, really, because I think I have a very outdated information. Yes. I cannot say I wish you would be an amazing mom, because you are already, so that's not a wish. And yeah, Yushu and Monica, I don't know, I think that they're all doing what they love, and I think they should just continue doing what they do. And Joanna, I admire her very much, all what she does in all the countries. First, to understand the whole difficulty about each culture. So you will nail this one again.
Fantastic.
Once more, yes.
So thank you very, very much to Natalia. Thanks you to all who have come tonight in order to give us a better idea of who Natalia is. So let's take a look at how we stay in touch with Natalia. Natalia Villanueva García.com. So Natalia, here's your website. I help people thrive, transform, and move forward. So to contact you, anyone can just reach out to you?
Yes.
There? Villanueva García Natalia at gmail.com?
Yes, correct.
Wonderful. Okay. So again, thank you very much to Natalia and all of the contributors tonight. Let's take a look at what is coming up next Wednesday. It is Niels Moos conducting Mozart's operas. Niels Moos is director of the Opera Master Program of the Music and Arts University of the city of Vienna, co-director of the Vienna Philharmonic's annual Mozart project, and all for good reason. Besides Mozart, nobody knows Mozart's operas better than Niels. Just as Mozart honed his craft as a composer during his many European tours, Niels has pursued musical excellence by conducting Mozart's operas in every major European, American, and Asian capital. For his efforts, he has been nominated for both Pulitzer Prizes and Grammy Awards, but recognition has never been Niels' motivation. It's all about Mozart's music and the singers and musicians that Niels works with to perform it at the highest level. Come welcome Niels to our show. As always, all information about upcoming shows may be found at www.simeonmoro.com. Once again, thank you so very much to Natalia Villanueva García. Thank you to Denise Mata, Giovanna Tovar, Danielle Arias, Helen Sadri, Monica Sorondo Ciernia, Yu-Chun Huang, Sebastian Salazar Bogoya, and Lino Rivera. Thank you very much to Agnieszka Rivole for her support of this show. Most of all, thanks to you, our participants, for making it all worthwhile. From Vienna, Austria, and from the Bay Area, California, goodbye, and see you next Wednesday.